it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that simulations are a be-all and end-all. And certainly there's a temptation on my part to say, yay, simulations. That's not true. Simulations are not a panacea. They are not a cure-all. If simulations were that wonderful, then I think we'd have noticed by now and everyone would be using them for everything. As I hope I've made clear in this resource, simulations are not always the answer. And I think one of the most useful things one can do is when one's thinking about a simulation and one builds up an idea is, could I be doing the same thing for my students to the same effect without a simulation? Is there not a simpler way that I could do this? And again, I think this goes back to the point that simulations do require time and effort in their composition. And sometimes it's easy to fall into the trap of ending up with something that's a simulation for the sake of a simulation. And certainly I'm as guilty as others of making simulations that are so complicated because I'm trying to do so many different things, or I've not really worked my idea out very well, that it takes longer to explain the game than it does to play it. Now that's not right. One of the things I think we should always be thinking about with simulations is, are we able to communicate a situation, a scenario to our students in very simple terms that they can get, which then allows them to explore things that are relatively complicated. And often we can do that. But sometimes simulations simply are not really well purposed for hitting those kinds of targets. That it's not what our students need, so we need to be responsive to their needs. It's not what we are trying to achieve, and we need to be responsive to that as well. So we always need to ask ourselves, is a simulation the right thing to do? And sometimes the answer is no.